Hey there, leader. Welcome back. It is such a privilege. What a privilege to be able to come to you every single week to share an idea, to share a tiny bit of insight that just may impact your whole world. Yep, just one tiny insight can actually provide such expansive impact in your life. That's my hope every single time I join you every week. And today, this week is no different. I want to talk about the universal leader. Surprise. I talk about the universal leader every chance I get. I talk about contemplative leadership style every chance I get. I mean, we can just change, the name of this podcast instead of the Dr. Denise Simpson podcast. It's the contemplative leadership style podcast. I don't know, but we're going to leave it as is for now. I want to talk about the universal leader. Yes, again and again and again and again, because this is an emerging leadership style that deserves attention. It deserves serious contemplation. It deserves serious reflection and meditation on this. And if you call yourself a leader, you deserve to listen in and you deserve to lead differently. And here's a way to do that for yourself, where you are reminded of your calling. You remember why you were born. You remember your purpose. You remember that there's a higher calling that you are tethered to and being pulled by. It's a reminding. I love that. It's a remembering of why you were called into leadership. So here's what happens to a lot of leaders that you and I know and you and I have experienced. We see a lot of leaders who have entered the pipeline of leadership. They have gotten very comfortable in their myopic way of looking at things. They have not taken the time to develop their skills, their mindset, their strategy. They are set in one way because the culture told them this is how we do it here. Organizational culture. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's a sneaky one. So then this leader settles in her ways, huh? Settles in how she does things and stays so linear in how she leads that she forgets there is a whole other expansive way of looking at leadership. But we're so narrow and it's easy because the brain goes, oop, this is pretty stressful. This is a lot of pressure. We're just going to do it this way because we've gotten a result like this and that's it. We're just never going to change our ways. That's some of us out here, right? And then there are other leaders who have entered the pipeline, I believe for very good reasons. I believed they had this inherent pull and they answered it and they entered leadership, whether representing our communities, whether in office, public office, right? These are folks who said, I'm going to serve our barrios, our ghettos, our neighborhoods, our suburbs, our urban cities, our states, and they came in and said, I'm the one. And then they lost their way for many reasons. That's the thing about a highly aware leader, right? Even those of us who are highly aware get lost along the path. We get lost on the journey because of many different variables, I should say, many reasons why we are pulled from our higher calling. And then we start making decisions that are not moral or lack integrity, right? We start chipping away at our souls. We start chipping away at our moral compass for the sake of power, greed, performance, perfectionism. We start putting all that above our people, above our own selves. And so there are many variations of leaders that go on this path. They enter the pipeline, they enter the trail, they are on the path of leadership. And we lose a lot of folks along the way. And while you've reached summit, some of them had wound up in some valley somewhere trying to get themselves out, right? Some of us are here waiting for the rest to come along, while some are saying, I don't think so. This is too much. I've lost my soul. I've lost my way. It's not even worth it. And so if you're listening to this, you are in leadership. If you're listening to this, you care deeply about yourself and, of course, the people that you serve. If you are listening to this, you are ready to lead differently. And I am here, and I believe I was put on this earth to remind you why. Talk about answering my higher calling, my friends. I am here. You are witnessing, you are observing this right now. Mark it. It's now on record. So here I am reminding you that number one, you were born to lead. You were born to lead. And I'm not talking about the great man theory of the late 1800s, early 1900s theory. You had to have a certain genetic code to be called a leader. You had to come from a very specific socioeconomic background to be a leader. It's based on the color of your eyes and the color of your skin. I'm not talking about the great man theory that you were born a certain way and that the only these people were born to lead. Forget that. Forget that. This is why we're in this predicament. I'm here to remind you that if you have had that inherent call, again, that pull, that tethering, you don't know where it's coming from, you don't know how you got here, but somewhere somehow you said, "Yeah, actually I can try to do this. I'm a little nervous, I'm a little scared, but yeah, okay. I'll take this leadership role. Yeah. Get me in there." And you tiptoe into the water and you're like, "Whoa." And then you realize, "Ooh, it's warm in here. This is lovely. Okay, let me do some backstrokes now. Yeah, let me do some, you know, front strokes." I don't know. I'm not a great swimmer, so I don't know all these, names of swimming patterns or whatever they're called. I am almost positive, however, that you said, "Okay, I'm very comfortable now." And maybe somewhere along the way, you may have forgotten why you even answered this call. You answered the call. You said, "I'm here. Let's go." You got a little comfortable. And now you're wondering if this is all worth it. So much has happened on your path, and you are now wondering if this is even worth it. And my job in answering my higher calling, in answering my purpose, is to remind you, the leader, that yes, you were born to lead, number one. And number two, you have a very unique divine assignment because your assignment is unlike mine. Mine is unlike his. His is unlike hers. So, what is your divine assignment in this realm, in this context of leadership? Is it to run that nonprofit? Is it to start, a tech startup? Is it your calling to be the next state representative? Maybe you are the next VP of Dell Computers or, Apple Computers, right? Maybe you were called into the medical field space to innovate or revolutionize something. Right? What is your unique divine assignment? Because number one, you were born to lead. That's pretty clear. It's clear to me, my friend. Number two, what is your divine assignment? And I want to help you remember what that is. And number three, you have a sacred responsibility because of one and two. So you have a sacred responsibility to reconnect that divine assignment, to remember why you were called into leadership, because your responsibility is to transform the lives that you were called to lead. Wow. What a responsibility you have. What a responsibility I have. Yay, we get to do this together. So the universal leader has 5 principles. And this all moves our emerging leadership style called contemplative leadership style, where we take a moment to reflect, to meditate, to pray on some things even. right? It's a moment where we find the time to reconnect with that higher calling, with that divine assignment, to remember our sacred responsibilities and the remaining principles that I would love to talk to you about on another podcast. But right now, I only mentioned those two principles out of the five. So mark that because you have three more to go. But contemplatives, my goodness, it's a word that reminds me, reminds us to pause, to be in stillness, to not be so hurried, to not be so reactive. Stillness requires that we be in the presence of ourselves and our higher calling. That's what stillness is. It's not fidgeting with your phone. It's not fidgeting with others. It's not being distracted. It is taking the time every day to put everything aside and to have tea with yourself and your higher calling. That's it. Have a cup of coffee with yourself and your higher calling. You can call that spirit, you can call it God, you can call it Christ, whatever you want to call it. It's none of my business. My business is to remind you to reconnect to what that is for you. Again, this has nothing to do with religion. Get out of here with dogma. It's none of my business. None of my business. Whether you've cracked open a book, the Quran, or whatever you are faithful to, that is none of my business. My business is to remind you that the universal leader is about universally looking at everyone through the eyes of that higher calling. That's the universal leader. This is why it's called the universal leader. It's not the United States leader. It's not the regional leader. It's not the Texas leader. No, it's universal. It's global. It permeates into every single soul that's on this earth. 8.5 billion people, or however many we are now. I don't know. However many we are. And that means that we are all connected. It's universal. So when we start seeing each other through that lens, then there's no hierarchy. Ooh, there's no superiority, inferiority. There's no I'm better than you. There's no let's win and you're going to lose. No, it's win-win. You see, it's win-win for all of us. See, we have forgotten to put on those spectacles. You see, we have forgotten to put our glasses on. The glasses. This filters out all of that. And we're able to see clearly. We're able to see each other for the divinity, the divineness in each of us. Whether they believe in God or not, who cares? I don't care. It's you, leader. It's us. It's us individually. That's how much power we have. That's how much power we each have. That's the universal leader. We get to see for ourselves what lives in us, the divine assignments that we each have, therefore they must have. So when you show up in your organization with these glasses on, you get to see through the eyes of that higher calling, that divineness, that spirit or source. When you start seeing through the eyes of source, let me tell you, things change. Circumstances have changed once you put those spectacles on. Once you start seeing through the eyes of divineness, circumstances have changed, and so have you. There's no more, I'm the winner, you're the loser. I'm a leader, you're a follower. There's no more hierarchy. I mean, your organizations can have that. I don't care. Your organizational charts will live forever, probably, and that's fine. I'm not about to take down that monster. That's a system I'm not interested in taking down. I'm just interested in reminding you that there's a different way to lead despite the systems and the culture that you work in today or live in, by the way. Hmm? It's the reminding that I'm here to do. And so when you do that for yourself and you start looking at life through the universal leader glasses, you are able to now connect with every single being on this planet. There's no hatred, there's no anger, there's no misogyny. Sure, it's going to be some time to unravel all that, but listen, in the universal leader world, there's none of that. And my job is to try to get us there as close to there as possible. And that's what I was put on this earth to do. And I'm happily doing it every single week, every single day with my clients. So the universal leader, universal, universal, unity, union. We are all in this together. We are all interconnected. We are all one. We all are, like Kathy Heller says, you are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Ooh, ooh, isn't that powerful? You are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. And what is that master? The master is divineness. It is spirit. It is a higher calling. Dare I say God? Dare I say source? Ooh, dare me. I'll say it. Dare me. Go ahead. I just did, huh? What a interesting thought that is, isn't it? So when you start seeing that for yourself, you see that in others and your leadership changes. The impact that you have changes. The way you show up changes. You are not the same person anymore. You couldn't be. It's impossible to return to that previous version of yourself. There's no turning back because you now know too much and you now are much. And now you're able to be the ripple effect in your communities, in your nonprofits, in your organizations, in your families. Wow, what an impact that is just by changing your perspective, just by changing that slight degree of perception. Wow. Wow, how powerful is that? Very, very. And I'm here to remind you of that. And by the way, it is my pleasure and honor to do that. Until I am blue in the face or taking my last breath, it is my privilege and honor to remind you. You have a divine assignment. You were born to lead. So now let's look at your sacred responsibilities. Hmm? But we have to get 1 and 2 first before we can hit 3, huh? All right, leader. Listen, if the world is feeling a bit heavy right now, because it should be, because you know why I know it's supposed to be this way? Because it's this way. Huh? Can't argue with reality. This is what we're facing. And as leaders, we have these responsibilities and they're sacred and they're sacred. So do your work, do the work, do the work. The work works, but you got to do the work. I say this, I've said this a few times on this podcast. So do the work with me. Do the work with me. Come and do the work with me. You are invited into a very sacred space that I created because I believe in this emerging, rising, transformational style of leadership that is unlike anything that is out there right now. And this style of leadership is desperately needed for the times we are leading in today and beyond. Have changed, and so have you. So I invite you into the Universal Leader Sanctuary. It is a sanctuary, let me tell you. It is starting up. It is brand new. No one else has seen this before. And I want for you to be the first. So I want you to head over to drdenisemsimpson.com/universal and check out the invitation I have for you. Click on enroll and join me right away. It is an honor to serve you. All right, leader. I hope that you take this information with you. Let it resonate, let it permeate, let it pierce your heart. And then let me know how this very short podcast episode has impacted you. I can't wait to hear from you. I am at Dr. Denise Simpson on Instagram and on LinkedIn and would love to hear from you there. All right, leader. I'll see you very soon. Have a great rest of your day. Take good care.